Chapter 1. I used to believe in fairy tales. Or maybe I just wanted to, at least for a while. Even now, as I sit by the window in my glass-walled corner office, city lights flickering in the dusk, I can still picture the night I met Jake. His eyes sharp, his smile warm, a wolf in tailored clothing hiding in plain sight. I was 28, full of caffeinated hope and raw ambition, launching a tech company no one believed in except me, and I thought, the man who swept me off my feet. Back then, Jake was the eager supporter, the one who brought takeout at midnight and worked his own startup dreams by my side. We were both hungry for something bigger, or so I thought. Sometimes I blame myself for confusing his hunger for ambition with hunger for something else entirely. It's easier than facing the truth. 7 years. Almost a decade of building something from nothing, of growing circuits, and code into a fortune the headlines now peg at $24 million. $7 years, and lately, Jake feels like a stranger in expensive shoes. The first cracks appeared subtle. Jake started carrying his phone everywhere, thumb hovering, eyes darting to the screen even in the quiet moments. Dinners, once lively with laughter, thinned into silence as he excused himself for private calls. Calls he always took in the den, with the door closed and his voice low. I heard him once, just a murmured, "Yeah, I'll do it, I've got it all here," and something in his tone made my skin prickle. At first, I wrote off the secrecy as stress. We both worked too hard, after all, rarely disentangling business from personal. But then things changed. His laptop, always left open, now snapped closed at my approach. Passwords changed without notice. And little things, joint bank account logins, records of my company's quarterly filings, started disappearing from the places we both used to access them. One night, insomnia gripping me like a vice, I padded softly down the hallway. The den door was ajar, light mapping a thin golden rectangle across the hardwood. I didn't mean to listen. I just froze when I heard my name. "She trusts me. She has no idea what's coming," Jake said, cold and clinical. Then, after a pause, "Half. I am entitled to half no matter what her lawyer says. She was nobody before me." A chill slid down my back, faster than blood. I pressed myself against the wall, willing myself not to breathe. "No, I don't want her to suspect. Let's move fast. The assets are all in her name, but I've documented everything. She won't see it coming." The receiver clicked back into place. When the door creaked, I turned and glided down the hallway, forcing myself to look sleepy when Jake glanced my way. He muttered something about water and brushed past me, smelling like an unfamiliar cologne. I didn't sleep, but I did act. By dawn, I was on the phone with Samantha. She arrived at my door an hour later, blonde curls askew and eyes sharp, holding 2 lattes and her usual battered notebook. Samantha had been with me since college, through my first heartbreak and every IPO rumor. She warned me about Jake before we married, back when I still thought skepticism was cynicism and that love required only trust. She raised an eyebrow as I relayed the conversation, her lips pressed in a grim line. "Emma, you know I never wanted to say it, but he's always cared more about what you could do than who you are." She flipped pages in her notebook. "Let me guess. Joint account balances, business documents missing, odd late-night texts. Maybe a few new credit cards you never saw." It stung how accurately she anticipated the betrayal. "I should have listened," I muttered, twisting my grandmother's ring on my finger. She squeezed my hand. "You're not the first brilliant woman to trust the wrong man, but you will be the first to outsmart him. I guarantee it." The sky bled toward morning. Samantha outlined next steps, jotting names and numbers. "If he's documenting your assets, he's getting ready, but Jake is arrogant and he thinks you won't notice." She frowned. "We need to get ahead." A lump swelled in my throat. "He said he wants half, like I'm just a ledger entry." Samantha's eyes flashed. "Let him believe it, but you, my friend, are going to play chess while he's busy playing checkers." I tried to laugh but couldn't. Instead, I stared at the ceiling and remembered the words I once heard from my grandmother, a survivor of her own disappointments. "Smart women always keep a rainy day fund, dear, one no one knows about, just in case." At the time, I'd rolled my eyes. Now, under my best friend's steady gaze, the advice felt like a lifeline. "First thing," Samantha continued briskly, scribbling in her notebook. We need to run a security audit on your home office. And we need to start protecting your accounts proactively. Don't tip your hand yet. I nodded, heart pounding more from adrenaline than grief. Jake might think I'd blindly hand him my fortune, but he was about to learn differently. That night he came home late, whistling as if nothing was amiss. He kissed my cheek, complimented my new dress, and poured us both a glass of wine. I smiled, played the loving wife, and filled our living room with the illusion of trust. But beneath the calm, a quiet storm brewed, one I knew I'd have to weather if I was to emerge whole. As he dozed off beside me, I whispered silently to the ceiling, a promise more than a prayer. He won't take everything. Not my money, not my company, and definitely not my peace. Tomorrow, I thought, I'll start fighting back. I woke up feeling sick, not sneezy or coughing sick, but sick in my heart. I stared at the ceiling. Jake, my husband, was already gone. His side of the bed was cold. I sat up and looked around our fancy bedroom. It was quiet, too quiet. I got up and walked downstairs. The sun shined through the window, but it didn't make me feel better. I put bread in the toaster. My hands were shaking a little. I tried to laugh it off, but my stomach hurt. Then I saw Jake's phone sitting on the counter. My heart started pounding. He never left his phone. Ever. I picked it up. I knew it was wrong, but I needed to know. Was he hiding something? My fingers tingled. I pressed the button and saw nothing new. No messages, no missed calls. Strange. A few minutes later, Jake walked in. "Morning, Em," he said. He sounded cheerful, too cheerful. "Good morning," I said. I put the phone back where he left it. My voice sounded small. He poured himself coffee and looked at his phone. He frowned, but then looked at me and smiled. "You look tired. Did you sleep okay?" he asked. I shook my head. "Not really. My mind kept racing," I said. He sipped his coffee. "You're working too hard again," he said. I wanted to ask him something, anything, but I was scared. Lately, Jake seemed different. He kept making secret phone calls and hiding things. It made me feel small. After breakfast, I went to my office upstairs. I had so much work, but I could not focus. All I could think about was Jake. Was he hiding something from me? I stood up and walked down the hallway. I heard Jake talking in the den. The door was open a sliver. "She doesn't know anything," Jake said. His voice was cold. "I'll get half. I want it all," he said. I stopped. My heart jumped. Was he talking about my money, our money? Someone on the phone said something I couldn't hear. Jake said, "I've got the documents. She trusts me. She won't see it coming." I felt dizzy. The floor under my feet felt like it was moving. I stepped away as quietly as I could. Tears filled my eyes, but I blinked them away. I couldn't let Jake see. He came out a minute later. "Who were you talking to?" I asked, trying to sound normal. He smiled. "Just a friend from work. Want to take a walk with me?" "No, thanks," I said. My voice was shaky. After Jake left, I called Samantha. She was my best friend since college. She always knew what to say. I tried to sound brave, but as soon as I heard her voice, I started to cry. "Emma, what happened?" Samantha asked. Her voice was kind. I told her everything, every word Jake said. My voice shook. "I think he wants to take everything," I said. I heard Samantha sigh. "Emma, I never trusted him," she said. "He's always cared more about your business than you." I sniffed and wiped my face. "Why didn't I see it?" I said. "Why did I believe him?" Samantha said, "You wanted to believe. That's what good people do. But Emma, you have to protect yourself. You built your company, not Jake." I felt hot tears on my cheek. "What should I do?" I whispered. "Don't let him know you're worried," Samantha said. "Act normal for now. I'll come over tonight. We need a plan, Emma. We cannot let him take what's yours." It felt good to have a friend on my side, but I was still scared. I was shaking. "Okay," I said. "Don't tell anyone, please." "I promise," Samantha said. "But Emma, you have to be strong. Do you hear me? He thinks you're weak, but you are not." I took a deep breath. "Okay," I said again, trying to sound braver than I felt. After I hung up, I sat by the window. I watched the cars go by, but I didn't see them. My mind was spinning with Jake's words. She has no idea what's coming. What did he mean? Could he really take everything from me? Later, when Jake came home for dinner, I smiled and asked about his day. But he just said it was fine and stared at his phone. I wanted to grab it and look, but I stopped myself. He looked up and frowned. "Why are you staring at me?" he said. "I'm just worried about us," I said. He rolled his eyes. "You're acting crazy, Emma," he said. I felt my hands clench under the table. I was angry, but I wasn't going to cry in front of him. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing Jake on the phone, those cold words over and over. Samantha said not to show my fear, but I didn't know if I could keep pretending much longer. What if Jake's plan was even worse than I thought? My heart was beating so hard I thought it might burst. I stood in front of my computer, trying not to shake. I opened our joint bank account just like I did every morning. But this time I saw something strange. The money Jake and I put in together was moving. Some money was going out and new notes were showing up in the account. I scrolled down. There were careful records. Someone had been watching every dollar. I bit my lip. "Has Jake been checking the account every day?" I whispered. I tried to breathe, but I felt tight inside. I could hear Jake's words from last night in my head. "She has no idea what's coming." It made me cold inside. Did he really want to take my money? Was everything he said to me a lie? I grabbed my phone and called Samantha. She answered right away. "Emma," she said. "Samantha, I think Jake is watching the accounts. He's writing down everything I spend. I'm scared," I said. I tried not to cry, but my eyes burned. She said, "You can't let him know you know, Emma. Don't give him any warning." "Do I confront him?" I asked. She said, "No, not yet. You need to protect yourself first." I sat down hard in my chair. I felt so angry and hurt. "I don't want to lose everything I built," I said. "All those years of work, Samantha, he can't take that." Samantha was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Remember what your grandma told you. Smart women always have a rainy day fund no one knows about. Do you have anything hidden, Emma?" I shook my head, even though she couldn't see. "Not really. I always trusted Jake," I said, my voice small. She said, "That's okay. We'll fix it. You're clever, Emma. We'll make a plan. I'll help you." I took a shaky breath. "How do I even start?" I asked. Samantha spoke softly. "First, don't let him see you're worried. Act normal. Next, you need to start looking at ways to move your money somewhere safe. Look into secret accounts. Somewhere he can't reach." I nodded. "Okay, I can try. I don't want him to win," I said. Just then, my phone buzzed with another call. It was a strange number. I almost didn't answer, but something inside me said I should. "Hello," I said. A deep voice answered. "Hi, this is Mr. Green. I'm with your company's board. Jake called me this morning about future changes. Do you know what he means?" My mouth fell open. No, I don't," I said. Mr. Green sounded unsure. He said there might be some big moves soon. Is everything all right? "Everything's fine," I said. "Thank you for telling me." After I hung up, my hands were shaking again. Jake was planning more than just taking my money. Now he was calling people at my company. He was trying to ruin everything, my work, my name. I called Samantha back right away. "Sam, he talked to the board. He told them changes are coming," I said. Samantha groaned. "He's going after your company too. This is worse than we thought." "I want to scream," I said. "How can he do this?" "He thinks you're not paying attention, Emma," she said. "But he's wrong." I rubbed my temples. "He comes home and pretends everything is fine. He even made dinner last night. How can he lie so easily?" I said. "Some people only care about themselves," Samantha said. I stared at my computer. "What should I do next?" I said. Samantha was quiet, then she said, "Act normal at home. Tell him you're working late if you have to. Start researching secret bank accounts. And Emma, watch everything he does." I nodded, even though my voice shook. "Okay, I just feel so alone," I said. Samantha's voice was strong. "You're not alone. Call me anytime, day or night." I felt a tiny glow of hope. Maybe, just maybe, I could beat Jake at his own game. The kitchen door creaked open. I gasped and almost dropped my phone. Jake stood there, looking at me, his eyes cold but his mouth smiling. "Who were you talking to?" he asked. I forced a laugh. "Just Samantha," I said. "She wanted to talk about her new job." Jake nodded, but he didn't look convinced. My hands started sweating. He said, "Make sure you're not working too hard, Emma. You've been forgetful lately." His voice was sharp and mean. I smiled and pretended I was fine, but inside I was shaking. What if he found out what I was doing? What if he already knew? I waited for him to leave the kitchen before I let the tears fall. What if I was already too late? It was late when Jake left for his business trip. The house was dark and too quiet without him, but I didn't feel lonely. I felt scared and angry. Samantha came over as soon as he was gone. She held out pizza and said, "We have work to do." I nodded. "I'm ready," I said, even though my hands shook. We sat at my kitchen table, covered with laptops and papers. "Let's start with your accounts," Samantha said. "If he's watching, we need to be smart." I said, "I don't want Jake to find out what we're doing." She smiled. "He won't, we're careful." We worked for hours. Samantha showed me how to move money, step by step. "You're good at this," she said. I tried to smile. "I never wanted to be this good," I said. I felt sad for a moment, thinking about how my life had changed. Suddenly, I remembered something. "Wait," I said. "Jake was in my office yesterday. I thought he was just bored." Samantha looked at me. "Did he touch anything?" she asked. I thought hard. "He was near the file cabinet," I said. "I saw him with his phone out." She frowned. "We need to check." We hurried to my office. I opened my computer. I clicked through my folders. My breath caught. There were emails I didn't remember sending, emails with photos of my company papers as attachments. "Samantha," I said, "someone took photos of my files and sent them to a weird email." Samantha looked angry. "It's Jake. I bet he's sending your secrets to someone." I felt my stomach twist. "Why would he do that?" I asked, my voice shaking. "He wants more than your money," she said. "He wants to ruin your company, too." I felt hot tears coming, but I wiped them away. "I can't let him do this," I said. Samantha put her hand on my arm. "We won't. Listen, Emma, you're smarter than he thinks. Use your tech skills. Make it look like you have less money than you really do." I nodded. "I can do that. I can change the numbers." So that night, while Jake was far away, I worked. I made digital trails. I made it look like my company was only worth half as much. My heart was pounding every minute. "I hope this works," I whispered. "It will," Samantha said. In the morning, Samantha said, "You need a lawyer now, someone you can trust." I stared at my coffee cup. "How do I know who to trust?" I asked. She smiled and patted my hand. "My uncle knows a guy. He's helped people in messy divorces before. He helps women protect what's theirs." I nodded. "Set it up," I said. Samantha made the call while I watched. When she was done, she said, "I talked to Mr. Kwan. He will see you tomorrow. He says he can help you keep your money safe." I felt hope for the first time in days. "Thank you, Samantha," I said. "You're saving my life." She smiled. "That's what friends are for." We worked late into the night. I moved money into places Jake couldn't see. Little by little, I sent $12 million through legal channels that only I controlled. No one could touch it, not Jake, not anyone. When we finished, I was so tired I could barely stand. I looked at Samantha. "Is it enough?" I asked. She nodded. "For now, yes, but stay alert. He'll come back. He might get suspicious." I swallowed hard. "What if he finds out?" I said. She looked me in the eye. "He won't, and if he does, we have proof. You're not breaking rules." We packed up the laptops and the papers. Samantha gave me a long hug. "You're one of the strongest people I know," she whispered. I tried not to cry. "What if I lose everything?" I whispered back. She squeezed tighter. "You won't, not if you keep fighting." After she left, I stood at my window. The city was quiet and I felt alone again, but at least now I had hope. Suddenly my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. It read, "You can't hide forever. I know what you're doing." My hands started to shake. I stared at the message. Who sent it? Was it Jake, or someone even worse? I didn't sleep at all. I just waited for morning, heart pounding, wondering if Jake really knew everything. I sat at my kitchen table, holding my coffee so tight my hand hurt. I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I kept thinking about that text. You can't hide forever. I know what you're doing. My stomach felt like a knot. Jake came home that afternoon. He looked calm. I tried to act normal. My mind was racing. What if he knew everything? What if he saw the money was gone? I tried to breathe, but it felt hard. He set his bag down. "Emma," he said with a smile, "you look worried. Is something wrong?" I shook my head. "Just tired," I said. My voice was weak. He walked over and put his hand on my shoulder. "You work too much. Why don't you take a break tonight?" he said. I shrugged. "Maybe," I said, trying to keep my voice even. Jake made dinner. It was weird how nice he was being. He even set the table. I almost wanted to cry because everything felt so fake. During dinner I asked, "How was your trip?" He looked up and smiled. "It was good. Met lots of people. Got some new ideas for business." I nodded. "That's good," I said. He leaned forward. "Emma, do you trust me?" he asked. I stared at him. My mouth felt dry. "Of course," I said. He laughed. "You always say that, but you seem jumpy." His eyes were cold even though he was smiling. Suddenly, he reached out and squeezed my hand hard. "What would you do if I ever lied to you?" he said. His question scared me. I pulled my hand away. I don't know," I said. My heart beat even faster. His smile dropped. "Emma, you're acting weird. Are you sure you're okay?" he said. I stood up and started clearing the plates so he couldn't see my face. My head was full of questions. Was Jake testing me? Did he want me to slip up? I felt so trapped. After dinner, I went to my office. I put my ear to the wall. I heard Jake talking in the living room. His voice was low. "Yeah, she's nervous," he said, "but she doesn't know anything." Then he paused and listened. "No, I have the papers. I can get more. She trusts me." My blood turned cold. I tiptoed back to my room and called Samantha. When she picked up, I whispered, "Sam, I think Jake's working with someone. I heard him talking on the phone. He said he has the papers." Samantha was silent for a second. Then she said, "Did he say who he was talking to?" "No," I said, "but he's not alone in this. I'm scared." Samantha said, "Stay calm. You need to watch him. We need proof. Are the cameras set up?" "Yes," I said. "I hope they're working." She told me, "Check the footage tomorrow. If he meets with someone, you'll know." "Okay," I said, breathing hard. "What if he finds the cameras?" "He won't," she said. "Just act like you always do." I nodded, wiping a tear away. "I'm so tired of pretending," I said. She said, "I know, Emma, but you're almost there. Don't let him scare you." After I hung up, I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. I kept listening for sounds. Every creak of the house made me jump. The next day, Jake left for a meeting. I hurried to the living room. I looked at the home security footage on my laptop. My heart raced as I watched the videos. At first, it was just boring stuff. Jake eating, watching TV, checking his phone. But then I saw something that made me gasp. Jake let a man into the house. I recognized him. He was Samir, the business director from our competitor's company. They went straight to my office. I watched as Jake pointed at my desk drawers and handed over papers. Samir snapped photos with his phone. My hands shook as I called Samantha. "Sam, you won't believe this. Jake met with Samir from Gear Tech. He gave him papers and let him take pictures in my office," I said. Samantha's voice was full of anger. "He's selling your company secrets. We have proof now, Emma. Save every video, back them up." I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. "He's not just stealing from me, Sam. He's helping the enemy." Samantha said, "Now we fight back. You need to document everything. You have to stay strong." I wiped my face. "I will. I'm done being scared." Just then, I heard the front door open. Jake was home early. I closed the laptop and held my breath, heart pounding. Jake called, "Emma, where are you?" I stood still, panic in my chest. waiting to see if he had found out what I knew. Jake came back from his trip and walked right into the kitchen. I was pouring myself water and trying not to shake. My hands felt cold, even though the sun was shining through the window. He didn't even say hello. He set down his bag and looked at me with hard eyes. "Emma, we need to talk," he said. I swallowed and nodded. "What's wrong?" I asked in my softest voice. He pulled out a chair and sat. "I want a divorce," he said, all serious and sharp. His voice was like a slap. I stared at him. My heart felt like it stopped. I wanted to scream, but I just whispered, "Why?" He shrugged, looking away. "It's not working. You care more about your business than us," he said. That hurt so much. I wanted to yell, to cry, to tell him what I knew, but I couldn't. I had to pretend. I took a shaky breath. "Can't we try?" I said. "Please, Jake, can we talk about this?" He narrowed his eyes. "There's nothing to talk about," he said. "I want half, that's fair. You wouldn't have any of this without me." He leaned back and folded his arms. "You're not as smart as you think, Emma," he said. I held my hands under the table so he couldn't see them shake. I felt angry and broken at the same time, but I remembered what Samantha said. Act like you're lost. Let him think you're weak. I let myself sniffle and wipe my eyes. "I don't understand money stuff, Jake," I said in a small voice. "You always took care of it." He smirked like he was winning. "Exactly," he said. "Let's just do this easy, no need for a big fight." Inside, I wanted to laugh and scream at him. He had no idea what I had done, but I just nodded and stared at the floor. He said, "My lawyer will call you tomorrow. You don't need to get anyone fancy. Just agree to give me half and we'll both move on." "Okay," I said, pretending to be scared. He softened a little, like he felt sorry for me. "You'll be fine, Emma. You're rich, remember," he said. I wanted to throw water in his face, but instead I asked, "Can I have a little time? Maybe to think?" He sighed like it annoyed him. "Fine, but not too long. I want things settled quickly." He stood and left me alone in the kitchen. I waited until I heard his car drive away, then called Samantha. She answered fast. "Emma." "He did it," I said, barely holding back tears. "He asked for a divorce. He wants half." I heard the anger in her voice. "You did great. Now follow the plan. Make sure everything you moved is safe." I nodded, wiping tears. "The 12 million is hidden where he can't find it. The lawyer you found said the paperwork looks good. He said Jake can't touch it." "You've got this," Samantha said. "Now let him think he's winning. Don't show him you know anything." I let out a shaky laugh. "He thinks I'm helpless." She said, "Let him believe it. He'll make mistakes." I wiped my face again. "He said I'm not as smart as I think." "He has no idea," Samantha said, almost smiling. I hugged myself, feeling a little stronger. "Did you ever check the prenup?" I asked. "The one we signed before the wedding." Samantha was quiet. I looked. "The files you scanned me are different from what I remember." I bit my lip. "What do you mean?" "Jake changed some pages," she said. "He must have planned this for a long time." That made my anger burn hotter. "How could I have missed it?" I whispered. "He's sneaky, Emma, but you're smarter," she said. I nodded, holding the phone to my ear. "I have to keep pretending. I can do it." Samantha said, "Call me if you need anything. Don't let him push you around." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "I won't." After we hung up, I sat in the dark kitchen and listened to every sound. I kept replaying Jake's words. "I want half. You're not as smart as you think." I looked down at my hands. They had stopped shaking, because deep inside I knew he was wrong. I was smarter than he would ever guess. The house was quiet, but I felt a new kind of fear. What would Jake do if he found out I wasn't as lost as he thought? What would he do if he discovered all his tricks were useless? I wasn't sure I wanted to find out, but I was ready, or at least I hoped I was. Then my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Meet me at the park tonight. Come alone. Don't tell anyone." My breath caught in my chest. Was it Jake or someone else? I sat frozen, not knowing what might happen next. Jake sat across from me at the big table. There were lawyers everywhere. His lawyer looked mean. My lawyer, Mr. Wright, looked old and slow, but I knew he was smarter than he seemed. I kept my face calm, but inside I felt like I might break. My hands were hiding under the table, squeezing together. Jake leaned in and said, "I want half of everything, Emma." He grinned like he had already won. His lawyer said, "We will be needing a full list of all assets. Bank accounts, investments, your company's value, everything." I nodded and slid a folder over the table. "Here, everything you asked for," I said, keeping my voice small. Jake snatched up the folder. He tore through the pages. His blue eyes looked hopeful. "This says there's 12 million in assets," he said. "No way, Emma. Your company is worth at least twice that. Where's the rest?" I shook my head. "That's all there is," I said. I looked shocked, just like Samantha taught me. Jake frowned. "You're lying," he said. His lawyer leaned over and whispered to him. Jake got louder. "I know you're hiding something," he said. Mr. Wright coughed. "Please, Mr. Carter, let's keep this respectful," he said, sounding gentle. Jake's lawyer smiled that mean smile. "We want all statements from every account, Mrs. Carter." I nodded. "Of course," I said. My voice was so quiet, but inside I was screaming. I wanted to yell at Jake for being greedy, for hurting me. I wanted to tell the world everything he had done, but I kept the act going. Jake turned to me. "You think you're so clever," he said. I looked at my lap like I was scared. "I'm just tired," I said. Samantha sat beside me, squeezing my arm. She was pretending to be my support person. She whispered, "He's getting desperate. Good, we just have to keep this up." I nodded. I stared at the wall, feeling his angry eyes on me. Mr. Wright said, "Our numbers are clear. If you don't believe them, you can hire a professional to check." Jake jumped up. "We will, you can bet on it," he said. His lawyer wrote something down and then said, "We request a court order for a forensic accountant." Mr. Wright nodded. "Fine, my client has nothing to hide." Jake smirked. He looked right at me. "You must think I'm stupid," he said. "I know you. I watched you build this empire. You can't hide anything from me." I shook my head. "I'm not hiding anything," I said. I made my voice shake as if I was scared. Samantha leaned close and whispered, "He's showing his true self. Let everyone see it." I felt tears in my eyes, but not from sadness. It was from anger. How could he look me in the eye and lie to my face? How could he think he would get away with it? Jake's lawyer said, "We'll be back after the accountant looks at everything. But don't try anything, Mrs. Carter. We're watching." I just nodded. As the meeting ended, Jake came up close to me. His face was small and mean. "I'll get everything," he whispered so no one else could hear. I stared at him and said, "You can try, Jake." He rolled his eyes. "You're nothing without me." I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I just walked out with Samantha right behind me. In the hallway, I let out a deep breath. "Are we going to be okay?" I asked her. Samantha hugged me. "Yes, he's losing control. The more he yells, the worse he looks." I smiled for the first time that day. "Thank you," I said. Later, as I got ready for bed, I heard my phone ding. It was another message, this time from an unknown number. "You only have 12 million. Are you sure about that?" I stared at the screen, my heart pounding fast. Was Jake trying to scare me, or did someone else know about the rest of my money? I lay awake in the dark, wondering who else might be watching me. I walked into the courtroom feeling scared but also a little brave. My lawyer, Mr. Wright, smiled and said, "You're doing great, Emma." I nodded and tried to look calm, even though my hands felt sweaty. Jake was already there. He wouldn't even look at me. His new lawyer, Mr. Ross, stood tall and mean, like nothing could bother him. I heard Jake whisper, "Today's the day we get it all." My heart beat faster. A woman walked up to the front. She was the court's accountant. She said, "I checked all Emma's accounts. Her company matches the numbers in her papers. I see $12 million, nothing hidden." Jake's face turned red. He jumped up and pointed at me. "She's lying," he yelled. "She must have hidden more. She always has secrets." I looked at the judge and tried to speak calmly. That's all there is, Your Honor, I said. Jake's lawyer said, we demand a second check. There must be more money. The judge frowned. You can check again, but I see nothing else here. She turned to Jake. Do you have proof, sir? Jake got loud. His hands were fists. She's smarter than you think. I want everything. I know she's tricking us. People in the courtroom stared at him. I saw the judge's eyebrow go up. Mr. Wright stood and handed some papers to the judge. We would like to show this evidence, he said. The judge looked at the papers. She read for a long time. This says Jake sent company files to a competitor, she asked. I felt the whole room go quiet. Jake stared at me, eyes wide. That's a lie, he shouted. Mr. Wright said, we have proof from home cameras. Jake let a man inside. He shared documents about Emma's work. This is more than a divorce. This is what we call corporate espionage. Jake's mouth opened and closed, but he couldn't say much now. He looked at his lawyer and said, you said this would be easy. His lawyer shook his head. Even his face looked scared now. What is this, Jake? He said. I wanted to cry, but also laugh. I was not the weak woman Jake thought I was. The judge sighed. This is serious, Mr. Carter. It's not just about money now. Jake glared at me. You set me up, he said quietly. I took a deep breath. No, Jake, you did this to yourself, I said. The judge turned to me. Emma, thank you for bringing this to the court. Mr. Wright nodded. We will give all our evidence to the police, too. Jake slumped in his chair. His face was pale. He said, can we talk, Emma, alone? I said, no, not right now. He slammed his fist on the table. This isn't fair, he yelled. I looked at Jake, and I didn't feel scared anymore. I felt strong. I thought about all the nights I was too afraid to sleep, all the times I wanted to cry but didn't. Samantha came and put her arm around me. You did it, she said. He can't hurt you now. I smiled at her. I wanted to hug her and cry at the same time. Thank you, Sam, I said. Thank you for believing me. Jake's lawyer whispered, you need to settle. She has the evidence now. Jake just stared at the ground. He didn't look so powerful anymore. The judge called for a break. I walked outside with Samantha. The sun was bright and warm on my face. Do you think it's really over? I asked. Samantha shook her head. He might still fight, but now you have the power. I took another deep breath. I just want to feel safe again, I said. Samantha said, you will, Emma, you will. As we went back inside, Jack glared at me, his eyes full of hate. I could feel his anger. I wondered, would he give up, or would he try something else? I didn't know what he would do next. I only knew I had to stay strong, no matter what happened. The courtroom felt cold, even though it was sunny outside. I kept my hands folded in my lap so no one would see them shaking. Jake sat across from me, but he didn't look at me anymore. He just whispered to his lawyer and looked angry. His lawyer got up and said, my client would like to settle this whole matter now. We'll take less than half if your side agrees. He looked at me and made a little smile like I was supposed to be scared. I took a deep breath. My lawyer, Mr. Wright, looked at me. Emma, it is your choice, he said. Jake stood up. He looked desperate for the first time. Emma, let's just end this. You can keep most things. We don't have to fight anymore, he said. I stared at him. I remembered every time he made me feel small. I remembered every lie he told. I said, no, Jake, this isn't about money. It's about what you did. He looked shocked. What does that mean? He said. I looked him right in the eyes. You stole from me. You tried to ruin my company. There have to be consequences, I said. My voice was steady even though my heart was beating fast. Jake's face turned red. His voice was tight. You don't have to do this, he said. I shook my head. Yes, I do. I won't settle. I want the truth to come out, I said. Mr. Wright smiled a little. We move forward, Your Honor, he said to the judge. The judge nodded. Very well, we'll rule on the evidence. Everyone in the room was silent. I heard the clock tick on the wall. My chest hurt from holding my breath. The judge looked down at her papers. Jake Carter's actions were wrong and dishonest. Emma Carter, you will keep almost everything. Mr. Carter, you get only a small settlement. He will also face an investigation for sharing company secrets. Jake stared at the table. He looked lost and smaller than I had ever seen him. After court, Jake followed me into the hallway. He said, "You tricked me." I looked at him. My eyes were wet, but I wasn't crying anymore. "No, Jake, you made your own choices," I said. He tried to grab my arm, but I pulled away. "Please, Emma, I have nothing left. Just tell me, where did the rest of the money go?" he said. I looked him in the eye. "You'll never find it, Jake. It's safe. I learned from you, and from people a lot smarter than you." He looked at the floor. "People will hate me after this," he said. I shook my head. "You did this to yourself," I said. I turned and walked away. Samantha hugged me as soon as I reached her. "You did it, Emma. He can't hurt you now," she said. I hugged her back. "Thank you, Sam. I couldn't have done it without you," I said. I felt tired but also free. At home, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Jake. It said, "Please help me. I have nothing left now. They're going to arrest me. I need you." I waited a long time before I answered. Then I just forwarded the message to my lawyer. I felt sorry, but also angry and a little proud. Later, I sat by my window and watched the city lights. My mind drifted back to everything that had happened. I could finally breathe. Then my phone buzzed again. This time the message was different. It said, "Emma, we need to talk. There's something you should know about Jake, and it's not over." I stared at my phone, my heart pounding again. What secret could still be waiting for me in the dark? One morning, my phone buzzed before the sun even came up. I grabbed it, rubbing my eyes. It was a news alert. "Businessman Jake Carter faces charges of corporate spying." I blinked. I could not believe it was real. I read every word, heart pounding. People online were talking about him. Nobody wanted to be his friend or partner now. I got out of bed and called Samantha right away. "Did you see the news?" I said. She laughed. "I did, Emma, you did it. He's finally facing the truth." I sat on my bed. I said, "I almost feel sad for him, almost." Samantha was quiet. "Don't, he made his choices." I nodded. "I know, I just never thought it would end like this." We met at the office later that day. My building was brighter, like the clouds had gone away. Workers smiled and said hello. They looked at me with something like respect. Mr. Green, from the board, stopped me in the hallway. He said, "Your company's shares are rising again. Everyone knows you are strong, Emma." I tried not to blush. "Thank you," I said. My voice felt steadier than before. After the meeting, Samantha followed me into my office. "You know what you should do," she said. "Help other women, make a place for them to get smart and safe." I looked at her with big eyes. "Could I really do that?" I asked. She smiled and nodded. "You know everything about these tricks now. You can show women how to protect their futures, too." The idea made my heart leap. "Let's start today," I said. We spent all afternoon writing plans for my new foundation. Our mission was to help women learn about money, business, and spot people like Jake. From hopeful confusion, I was now feeling real hope. Weeks passed. Samantha became not just my best friend, but my true business partner. People started to ask me for advice. I stood in front of big rooms, sharing my story. Sometimes I still felt nervous, but Samantha gave me courage. One day, my phone buzzed with a new message. It was from Jake. The words made my chest tight. It said, "Emma, please, everyone left me. Lawyers won't help me. I don't know what to do." I could picture his sad face, but I remembered the pain and anger he caused. I said nothing. I just sent the message to my lawyer, like Samantha once told me to do. Afterwards, my company grew even more. People respected me. The news said, "Emma Carter, the bravest woman in tech." I didn't feel brave every day, but I liked that people thought I was. One afternoon, Samantha handed me a letter. "This just came to the office," she said. I opened it and read. It was from a young woman. She wrote, "I heard your story. Thank you for showing me I can be brave too. Now I am starting my own business." I smiled and wiped a tear from my cheek. "This is the reason I keep fighting," I said. Samantha hugged me. "You changed the world more than you know." That night, while I watched the city lights, my phone buzzed with one more alert. Jake Carter arrested outside courthouse. My old fear tried to crawl back, but I pushed it away. I whispered, "You can't hurt me anymore." I went to bed feeling tired, but peaceful. For the first time in months, I fell asleep before midnight. But then at 2 a.m., my phone buzzed and kept buzzing. When I opened my messages, I saw a new name. The message said, "Emma, there's something else about Jake. Call me as soon as you wake up." My eyes snapped open wide. My new life was finally safe, or so I thought. Now a new worry crawled into my heart.